Man, Suge Knight. Just saying his name could make folks in hip-hop shiver.
They was not scared of Suge Knight. They was terrified.
We're talking about a guy who wasn't playing games. Suge didn't just have power. He ran things with fear. He was violent, ruthless, and honestly, out of pocket. We're talking wild stuff. Beating people, forcing them to drink urine, and even allegedly dangling folks off balconies just for a signature. You couldn't make this up. Suge was that guy people didn't mess with.
That nigga Suge Knight was a cold gangster.
You're wrong.
He was like the final boss of the music industry. But guess who didn't care? Slim Shady. Eminem was like, yeah, so what? He wasn't afraid of Suge or his threats. In fact, when people warned him, M was like, so what? I'm still here. That moment made it clear. This dude, Eminem, he's built different.
Hey man, Suge sent him a message. I was like, oh shit.
He didn't flinch, didn't blink. That's when folks realized he's not just talk. Because here's the thing, Detroit made him. You grow up in Detroit, you learn to hold your own. 8 Mile, bro. That's not a movie to him. That's real life. Suge may have been the most feared name in rap. M, he was ready. And that fearlessness got tested on one crazy night. The Source Awards.
Well, in 1999 at the Source Awards, Suge Knight sent his henchmen.
This was back in '99. Picture it. One of the biggest nights in hip-hop, Suge and his goons were in the building. Meanwhile, Eminem, he was blowing up. His My Name Is single was everywhere. And his album, on fire. He was new but already shaking up the whole game. So much that they asked him to present an award to DMX. Big moment. Huge stage. This was back in '99. Picture it. One of the biggest nights in hip-hop, Suge and his goons were in the building. Meanwhile, Eminem, he was blowing up. His My Name Is single was everywhere. And his album, on fire. He was new but already shaking up the whole game. So much that they asked him to present an award to DMX. Big moment. Huge stage. And then, here comes M on stage. Hello, hello, what up? But behind the scenes, drama. Just before all that, M was making his way to his seat. And out of nowhere, he gets surrounded.
Surrounded him. And I'm looking at M's face and I'm looking at these guys. I'm like, something ain't right. So I start making my way around to come up the aisle. And next thing I know, you see all these guys talking about death row, death row. I was like, death row, what does it got to do with him? He said, hey man, Suge sent him a message. I was like, oh, shit.
Suge's people, red shirts, real aggressive energy. In M's face, stone cold. He didn't even flinch. Meanwhile, people on the side were like, yo, this don't feel right. Then came the whispers. Death row, death row. It's like, what's death row got to do with M? That's when someone goes, Suge is sending a message. And M still didn't back down. He just went up, did his job, handed DMX that award, then calmly went right back to his seat. Like nothing ever happened. But Suge's crew? Yeah, they weren't finished. Later that night, when M and his team were leaving, those dudes were still out there.
Pulling off as we're coming out. Death row's behind us. It was like, this motherfucker's trying to kill us, man. What they trying to do? What do they want? I don't understand. What do they want?
Yeah, but M's ready to swing on someone if he has to.
Yeah, man. You know, like I said, he ain't no punk.
Waiting, right outside. So now M's trying to leave, get to the limo. And it's like death row dudes are tailing them. Everybody's on edge. They're pulling off. Death row still right there. M's people are like, yo, is Suge trying to kill us or something? They didn't know what was coming next. But M, he was calm, ready to swing if he had to, because that's just who he is. No bluff, no fake tough guy act. But it raises the question, why was Suge coming at Eminem like that? To really get it, you gotta understand what was happening inside Death Row back then. Back in the mid-90s, Death Row wasn't just a label, it was the label. They were dominating the charts with classics like The Chronic, Doggy Style, and All Eyes on Me. But behind all that success, things got dark, real dark. The name Death Row started to mean something way more literal. It wasn't just about music, it was about fear and control. And Suge Knight was the one pulling all the strings. Dude wasn't just tough, he was dangerous. Like, actually. At one point, he even made 2 artists strip naked at gunpoint just for using the office phone. Let that sink in. If anyone stepped out of line, Suge would drag them into a room and beat them. No lie. People in the office would hear screams through the walls, but nobody said anything. They just kept their heads down and acted like it was normal. And sadly, that chaos became the norm at death row. It spread like wildfire. Other artists started copying Suge's violent ways. It wasn't about making music anymore. It was about survival. Dr. Dre? Yeah, he wanted no part of that. He was in it for the music, not the madness. So Dre made a tough call. He left.
And I'm always going to believe and bet on myself.
Walked away from everything. No royalties, no money, just dipped. Because for him, peace of mind mattered more. He wasn't about to let money run his life. After leaving, Dre launched his own label, Aftermath. And that's where things get interesting. Because Suge, he didn't take it well. He felt betrayed and tried to ruin Dre however he could. At first, Dre's new label struggled. The albums weren't hitting. People started doubting Dre, wondering if he had lost his magic. But then, one demo tape changed everything. Dre and Jimmy Iovine stumbled across this voice and were like, "Who the hell is that?" It was Eminem, a white kid from Detroit with raw bars and zero filters. M had it rough. Poverty, bullying, the works. But all that pain fueled his grind. He came up in Detroit's underground rap scene where nothing was handed to you. And being white in a black-dominated genre, that just made it even harder. Still, his lyrics, his delivery, it all stood out. So Dre took a gamble, signed him to Aftermath in '98. Together, they dropped the Slim Shady LP. Boom! It blew up, went number 2 on Billboard, sold almost 300K first week. The album won a Grammy. Dre was back. M was a superstar. And their duo, instant icons. But with that kind of success, you already know someone wasn't happy. Suge Knight. He was watching it all go down from the sidelines, and he wasn't feeling it. Death Row was falling apart. Dre was gone. Pac was dead. Snoop had left. The magic was gone. The music changed. The vibe changed. Suge, he was behind bars. And now, even Snoop was beefing with him. Snoop didn't want any part of Suge's East versus West beef. He stayed cool with people Suge didn't like. And Suge hated that. It got so bad, Suge even threatened to kill Snoop. Snoop was shaken. You could hear it in his voice. Eventually he bounced, left Death Row behind for good. And with that, the empire officially crumbled. Meanwhile, M and Dre, they were thriving, dropping hits, winning awards, the world was watching. And Suge, he was steaming. To him, M wasn't just another rapper. He was a symbol of everything Suge lost. That's when things got personal. Suge made M his next target. He started throwing shade, questioning M's street cred. On a 2002 Howard Stern interview, Suge implied M wasn't legit, that he was just acting tough, said if someone else was writing M's lyrics, it didn't count. But Suge didn't stop at talking. He wanted to rattle M in real life. In '99, Dre and Snoop planned a Death Row reunion party in Hawaii. M came along for a chill family trip. But as soon as the plane landed, cops were already waiting. Why? Because Death Row dudes were there causing trouble. And it didn't end there. In 2001, at 50 Cent's In the Club video shoot, Suge pulled up again with a crew. Some of these guys had face tattoos, whole 18th Street Gang energy.
Suge is coming! So I'm like,
Suge's outside. Suge's outside. Everybody like, he was running, dropping.
so Suge came, he had some Mexican niggas. Now we from New York. You ain't never seen a nigga with a tattoo on his forehead. 118th Street crew. I'm like, what the fuck?
But guess what? M didn't back down. He walked right out the trailer to confront them. No hesitation. Straight up. That's when everyone was like, okay, this guy's real. Even Suge just turned around and left. But M, he never really spoke on Suge much. In 2004, he dropped Like Toy Soldiers and explained why. Dre told him to stay out of that beef. So he did, bit his tongue and played it smart. But years later, Suge was still bitter. On a podcast with Cat Williams, he went after M again, this time about M's posthumous Tupac album, called it a flop. Even though it went platinum, fans were like, bro, come on. Felt like Suge was just salty. But others wondered, was there some truth? M had reached out to Tupac's mom for her blessing. She gave him the green light, and M produced the album Loyal to the Game. Commercially, it was a hit, but fans were split. Said it didn't feel like a Tupac record, too polished, too modern, like M's style overrode Pac's. Still, M kept quiet until 2025. Out of nowhere, a leaked diss track hit the net. Old unreleased heat from M aimed right at Suge. It was called Smack You, and yo, this track was vicious. Fans went wild. Said if it dropped back in the day, it would have started a war. M came for Ja Rule and Suge Knight, mocked Ja's height, his parenting, then accused Suge of being behind Pac and Biggie's deaths. He said Suge was responsible for losing two of the greatest rappers ever, and just like that, M reminded everyone he's not afraid of anyone, not Suge, not his threats, not his past, and if it ever came to it, M's always been ready to stand tall. If you want more content like this, feel free to hit that subscribe button and comment your thoughts on the video, and I'll see you in the next one.